The cracks in our relationship, once small and manageable, had grown into chasms that neither Ethan nor I could bridge. The wedding planning had become a battleground for our differences, each decision exposing the ways in which we couldn't align. I wanted something simple and timeless. He craved excitement and flair. What should have been a time of joy became a series of compromises that felt more like sacrifices. The arguments were no longer about flowers or guest lists. They were about values, about the very core of who we were. Ethan's spontaneity, which had once drawn me to him, now felt like a constant disruption to my need for stability. My insistence on careful planning, which he had admired at first, now seemed to suffocate him. It was late one evening, after yet another disagreement, that the truth became unavoidable.
"I don't think this is working,"
Ethan said, his voice heavy with resignation.
"We keep trying, but we're just too different."
I stared at him, the weight of his words pressing down on my chest. Deep down, I knew he was right. We had been holding on to the idea of a future together, but the reality was tearing us apart. "Maybe we want the same things," I whispered, "but we don't know how to get there together." The decision to part ways was mutual, but that didn't make it any less painful. I packed my things slowly, each item a reminder of the life we had tried to build. The botanical garden, the quiet nights in, the plans for our future, all of it felt like a distant dream. Ethan left a note on the counter before he moved out.
"I'll always cherish what we had. I hope you find the happiness you deserve."
In the weeks that followed, I threw myself into routines. Work became my refuge, a place where I could bury my thoughts in tasks and deadlines. But the quiet moments, the ones I used to savor, became unbearable. I couldn't sit in the garden without thinking of Ethan's laughter, couldn't pass the spot where he had proposed without feeling the weight of what could have been. One night, as I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the sadness I had been holding at bay overwhelmed me. Tears streamed down my face as I replayed our relationship in my mind. I thought about the moments of joy and connection, the ways we had supported each other, and the dreams we had shared. But I also saw the conflicts, the compromises that had chipped away at our bond, and the fundamental differences that had made it impossible to move forward. Reflecting on it all, I realized that I had been clinging to the idea of stability, even when it came at the cost of my own happiness. My nature, steady, grounded, cautious, had led me to seek comfort in routine and predictability. But this experience had shown me that stability wasn't enough. I needed a partner who could understand and complement my strengths without feeling stifled by them. Someone who could meet me in the middle, balancing my need for order with a shared sense of purpose. The days turned into weeks, and while the pain didn't fade, it began to settle into a quiet ache. I spent more time in the garden, finding solace in the act of nurturing something that could grow despite the seasons of life. But even as I planted new seeds, I felt the weight of depression settling over me. The joy I had once found in these simple pleasures felt distant, like a memory I couldn't quite reach. Friends and family reached out, their concern evident, but I found it hard to let them in. How could I explain the depth of this loss? It wasn't just Ethan I was mourning. It was the future I had envisioned, the life I thought we would share. One evening, as I sat alone on the porch, the garden bathed in the soft light of dusk, I allowed myself to feel the full weight of my grief. For the first time, I admitted to myself that it wasn't just the end of a relationship, it was a reckoning with who I was and what I truly needed. And in that moment, though the sadness remained, a small, fragile hope began to stir. Maybe, just maybe, this ending could be the beginning of something new.